Well, it ain't actually summer yet, as you can tell by the rain outside. Also, I'm a bit damp because I was out in that rain outside, and I have something in my eye from the work I was doing out in that rain outside. Need something? No. Okay. Oh. Yeah, we've had an adventure with chickens lately. We have, we had like 42, I think. We had something like 40 chickens at various ages. And we lost 7 of them last week over like 3 days, 3 nights, to predators. Various methods and, yeah, fun things. Anyways, we're in this now multi-day process of securing the coop more and encouraging the birds to sleep indoors in our constructed hut rather than where they had been, or several of them had been roosting in our tree. And those are the ones who got. Sadly, because it always seemed to me the ones in the tree were probably the smarter ones. But anyways, when they start dying, you have to change habits. Anyways, so damp me is wanting a warming beer, a fortifying beer. And I just happen to have a Doppelbock. That is a double strong, or a double goat, I guess, a Doppelbock, which is a strong German dark lager by Future Primitive. And so I'm going to drink that now. It's a full can. Nice. Well, hey, welcome to another episode of Chewing the Brew. So, like I said before the cut, Doppelbock by Future Primitive. I have had a small handful of Future Primitive beers before. I want to say I've reviewed at least one, possibly 2, but I know I've done one, or I'm reasonably certain I've done one. Fun fact about bocks that I have mentioned in the past: the suffix ator in a beer name means it's a Doppelbock. That goes back to, I want to say it was Optimator was the first widely distributed historic German Doppelbock. And so every Doppelbock since then has, or not every, but most of them, as just an indicator, ator, of what this beer is. They integrate ator as a suffix in their name. So this is Agitator Doppelbock. In fact, it was, I'm trying to remember another Doppelbock I've done recently not recently, but a year ago. Anyways, so German dark lager, or dark German lager, double goat. Bock is just a strong beer. Bock means goat. And so they called the strong beers goat beers, greatest of all time. And then when it went even stronger, they called them double goats. And that's where we get Doppelbock. I tend to see Doppelbocks, bocks and Doppelbocks, and my box and all those others, come on, you can spin, as cool spring beers. I don't know if that's traditionally the case. They just seem to fit that kind of between time. They're not necessarily so heavy as to be like a true winter warmer, and also they don't tend to have the spicing. Them being a lager just seems to me to play more to the between times rather than the really cold dark times. Like I said, I don't know that is historic at all. That's just my preference. When it starts coming spring, I start looking for bocks, Doppelbocks, and my box. Malty. So there is a syrupy, almost a baking, like a flatbread, like a pancake-like note to the aroma before you get your nose super deep in, like when you're back here. And also definitely a sweetness. There is a syrupy sweetness. It is it's like a butter syrup. Pancakes, butter syrup. I'm not hankering for breakfast. Those are just the things that come to mind. There is a slight roasty note to it. And as you get your nose deeper in, it's like the sweetness kind of goes away, and instead you have almost this woody, not earthy, but more like, and it's not like a spicy wood like a cypress or a cedar or something like that. It's more like uh, pine lumber, maybe, note to it. It's almost like pine lumber has a little bit of a spiciness to it, but it's really slight more. It's just this woody note. Yeah, it smells good. That's quite pleasant. That is quite pleasant indeed. Um, a lot of sweetness from the malts, but also a nuttiness. Um, not a cashew, maybe an almond, not a walnut, maybe like an almond nuttiness in there. There is a nice deft hint of hops playing in, just sharpening corners, playing a little bit of bitterness. This doesn't drink like I've mentioned in the past with other lagers I've had that they tend to like have a soft focus on the flavors where uh, not muddled, but less distinctness to individual flavors. This doesn't really follow that same path, I don't think. I mean, it's not like it's pointy corners all over like a big IPA. This is a sweet, decently smooth. The sweetness kind of changes character a couple times over the course of it being in your mouth. Um, but like there's more character to it than you might find or expect to find in a typical medium, medium brown lager. Also that color, it's a very nice color. It's to the ruby side of brown. Yeah, that sweetness. So the roastiness is when you first start drinking coffee, right? When you're a kid, your first sips of coffee are, you know, a little bit of coffee and a lot of sugar. And that's how you have your first sip of coffee, or that's how I had my first coffee way back when. I don't know, I was 8 or 10 or something. No, I wasn't drinking coffee regularly back then. That was just a special occasion. And Mom, can I have coffee? Yeah. And the sugar bowl was out. It almost has that character though, where there is this little bit of dark roastiness in the background, and then this big malty sweetness. And it's not a bready maltiness. It is a syrupy maltiness. It is, I mean, I'm getting hints of maybe even Lundberg's rice syrup, which isn't a super common thing, but is a very distinct thing. And if you know, you know. If you got Mountain People's Warehouse back in the 80s and 90s, and you had a very health-focused mother, you might have had Lundberg's rice syrup. It has a kind of a unique sweetness to it. But that's not all. There's like multiple layers on here. It has that butter syrup. It has this other more grainy, funky syrup that is more the Lundberg's rice syrup. It has that little bit of dark roastiness. Um, the way the sweetness continues almost feels a little bit like aspartame or aspartame from a diet soda, which I am not a fan of. Anytime sweetness really lingers and it has that kind of syrupy characteristic, I tend to shy away from that. And I just don't like diet sodas in general because every single one of them has that, yeah, flavor to it. Um, this, because it lasts so long and it has that kind of syrupy character, I'm seeing that, but it doesn't actually taste like aspartame or aspartame. I'm just going to say aspartame because that's how I say it. There's also a little bit of vegetable, and that's kind of towards the front. It's like vegetable, sweet, little points of bitterness and just this really lingering. It doesn't feel, well, it does feel heavier. It does have the viscosity is a little bit thicker than water. It is definitely thicker, but it doesn't have, like, it's moderately heavy. Let me put it that way. It is, heavier than a Pilsner, obviously. And the sweetness and the sugars that are in it definitely do give it a bit more body. But it doesn't feel quite so heavy as it could be, considering how sweet it is. Like, it's not a barley wine. Those barley wines are syrup. I mean, heck, just pour them over your pancakes and you'll be fine. This is not that. The sweetness approaches that at points, but it doesn't. But the body is just a little bit lighter than I'm expecting for that. So some interesting juxtapositions that are quite enjoyable and pleasant. I find this a very adequate Doppelbock. Tasty, very nice for a cool rainy day here in the Northwest. Yeah, just what the doctor ordered. If the doctor's name was Ator, maybe. Anyways, it's a 3-star beer. I'm definitely enjoying Future Primitives Agitator Doppelbock, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.